As part of the 4-year undergraduate degree curriculum, the mandatory service learning requirement of PolyU is an experiential learning pedagogy that integrates meaningful community service with academic study and reflections to enrich students' learning experience. Service learning provides students with opportunities to serve the underprivileged, using their professional knowledge and skills in Hong Kong, the Chinese mainland, and overseas.
呢一科對於大學生有咩用咧？就係除咗關注學業之外，同時都要着緊自己嘅一個社會嘅責任。咁我覺得自己最大嘅得着咧，就係一啲擺街站嘅經驗啦。因為今次係我第一次擺街站，真係從零開始學到好多嘢咯。
我最希望見到學生嘅改變就係佢哋嘅主動性同埋積極性啦。咁我哋就盡量都俾啲學生去自由發揮嘅。佢碰釘呢個過程當中咧，我哋都會令到佢有一個學習嘅機會。
幾好啊！可以俾翻我哋檢查翻我哋嘅身體是否正常，同埋有冇啲潛在嘅危險信息。
我覺得呢個計劃對機構最大嘅裨益就係街坊受惠嘅，佢哋對食物入邊嘅營養嗰個認識就提高咗啦，亦都增加咗佢哋去追求營養平衡呢樣嘢咯。我覺得理大嘅學生其實佢哋都好落力去參與呢個計劃嘅，咁用翻佢哋嘅話語，其實佢哋好有課嘅。
呢個製作時光嘅過程咧，其實係要同個康復者一齊共同製作嘅，而佢哋呢個作品咧係會喺最後個 fashion show 嗰度展示出嚟，可以幫我哋嘅康復者重新打造一個形象，同埋創建一個和諧嘅社會嘅。
咁參加完呢個計劃咧，最大嘅得着咧就係令我對精神病康復者咧有更大嘅認識同埋了解。
咁一開始都好緊張，點樣可以令到啲康復者會開心啲呢？但其實相反係啲康復者令到我哋更加開心喎。其實佢哋參加咗好多治療嘅課程之後咧，佢哋嘅人明顯係開朗過我哋平時啲平平無奇嘅學生啦。
可以同我成班 group mate 啦，仲有啲精神康復者一齊諗到一啲新嘅 idea， 咁呢樣就我覺得最滿足、最開心嘅嘢咯。
我見到學生咧係好有耐性咁去聽我哋康復者佢哋嘅諗法啦，好有用心咁樣咧，係同我哋嘅輔員人士一齊去諗嗰個設計嘅過程。
我覺得我有4個天使啦，街外嘅人講句佢黐線嘅，咁我哋其實就冇晒發言權。咁但係呢個計劃好重視我哋嘅意見，呢樣嘢就俾咗我一個好大個強心針啦。我覺得呢個咧係我人生嘅貴寶，我會好好咁樣擺喺自己個心裏邊嘅。
Service learning was introduced because of our educational vision. Primarily, we believe that service learning can help to promote holistic youth development. In particular, we believe that university students are intellectuals. Therefore, they ought to develop their social responsibility. Now, of course, this also coincides with the desired graduate attributes of PolyU, that we want our students to be responsible global citizens, and it also is consistent with the aspiration of the University Grants Commission.
Service learning is a compulsory subject that students will need to take before they can graduate. It falls under the GOR, which is the General University Requirement. So each year, the committee will just invite teachers to submit subject proposals. And at the present moment, we have more than 80 subjects that offer to the students every year. So students, based on their goals, their interests, their inspiration, and then they choose the relevant subject to enroll in.
The first goal is to help students to appreciate the applied relevance of the knowledge. Now, of course, when they do this, they have to think about what is the linkage between the subject and the real needs of the world. So it is not just knowledge in the cloud, which is very abstract, which cannot be having any relevance to other people. We expect university students to think about how they as intellectuals can help the society to develop better. And with this goal in mind, we hope the students can learn empathy. That is, you can stand in the position of other people to look at things and also understand the needs of the deprived communities and populations. So what we have done is very simple. Before the students take the surface learning subject, the students have to take a 10-hour e-learning module. And then it will be followed by several lectures, normally 3 to 4. And then the students will form groups where they are required to develop their own surface learning projects. And then we got 40 hours of surface learning project. They go into the field, the site, to do it. And after that, they have to evaluate and reflect on their experience. Now, at the very beginning, if a teacher wishes to offer a surface learning subject, he or she has to write a subject proposal and also a tentative subject syllabus. And then the subcommittee on surface learning under the Committee on General University Requirement will vet the proposal. And then we have to go to APC, that is the Academic Planning Committee. And finally, we have to go to the Senate. So for the approval process, it is the same as other subjects. And then we'll monitor the quality of surface learning subjects. First, we will look at the mandatory SFQ, that is student feedback questionnaire, results to look at the feedback of the students. And then we'll look at the grade distribution, see whether there would be any grade inflation or deflation. And then we will look at the sharing of the teachers. We also conduct some ad hoc evaluation studies. Say we will, besides the SFQ, some subjects, they do their subjective outcome evaluation, and we also look at pre-test, post-test differences. So through various mechanisms, we really want to have a clear picture about whether the subject is helpful to the students. And of course, besides this, we also ask the service provider, some of the NGO schools, regarding whether our surface learning projects can help the service recipients. We also ask the service recipients. So through different sources of data, we really want to know whether we can achieve what we want to achieve at the very beginning. We have to accumulate enough passionate and dedicated teachers for surface learning, which is not easy. We want to have holistic development of the students. We want our students to be better people. So eventually we have to ask the question, after taking surface learning, are our students better people? Do they have more compassion and passion about people who are suffering? Will they pay more attention to those communities that really need more care?
So surface learning actually benefits three parties: the university, the teacher, and the students. The best part of it is to have all these parties to go beyond, to break away from the ivory tower and go into the real world, and then to practice what they learn and to practice what they pledge.
Now, of course, the primary gain is on holistic student development. Looking at the intended learning outcomes, actually students' cognitive competence increased. We see that they got increased level of resilience, emotional management ability, innovative problem solving. They said that they knew more about how to help other people. They knew more about team building and collaboration amongst the students. The teachers tell us that they become more passionate about teaching, and then they also learn better ways of teaching, say reflective learning, collaborative learning. They know how to do in-depth reflections. PolyU is a very applied university. We are very technology, engineering, construction oriented, does not have much human touch. But with surface learning, we tell ourselves and the community that we are a university with care. We are now initiating a movement on surface learning in Hong Kong and also in China. We just had the first surface learning conference in China in May 2019.
The core of the surface learning is involving people. So I would think the success factors would be, very importantly, having a positive thinking about the things that will happen. So creativity is also important because in most of the cases, the students are going to solve a rather complex problem in the real world. The majority of the programs offered in this university is discipline related and or professional related. So the professional competence that the students learn and gain from the curriculum can be readily applied in surface learning.
Every student has to take a 3-credit surface learning subject. And without this policy framework, I don't think we can do it. We got a dedicated team of colleagues, I think now more than 100 teachers, teaching surface learning. So they are now driving the movement. We got periodic training programs for the teachers, we got sharing, and then we got publications, we got documented stories for the students to hear. There is no point in just saying that, okay, surface learning is good, surface learning is very good. There's no point in saying this unless you show me the evidence. So we actually take an evidence-based perspective.
Challenges, it goes back to resource, the physical space resource, or the manpower resource, and of course, the financial resource.
We want to have several signature surface learning programs within Hong Kong and also outside Hong Kong. I want our students to look at those places to really appreciate the needs in different parts of the world. We're now having the Cambodia Summer School. Now we enlarge it to Cambodia, Vietnam Summer School, so we can have a niche in Southeast Asia. I really want PolyU to be a center of excellence in this area. And of course, one way to do this is on publication, because I do believe that without publication, we can say a lot of good things, but eventually things can be very empty. So we need to document the success story, the failure stories, and then we have to document what experience we gain in different Chinese contexts. Maybe we have to build up our own theory of surface learning in the Chinese context. So all these questions are important questions, and we have to address them in the years to come. Think about why you want to do it. If you really want to nurture young people in a holistic manner, then you have to give credits, you have to give resources, you have to give policy support.
You might want to make the structure and also the content more flexible in terms of what is regarded as service learning and what is not regarded as service learning.
Groom up teachers who are really passionate about students and about service learning.
One of the things that we did with our colleagues was we helped them by putting together a template for a service learning subject. So these are the things that make up a service learning subject. This is how, in your discipline, you can slot, the relevant parts into these parts. I have lost count of how many colleagues I talked with and walked them through the process. At the same time, educating myself on what their discipline was and trying to make relevant whatever they wanted to teach the students with whatever was needed in the field, and by that to put together a good service learning subject that they had confidence in running for their student.
If you are doing English, then you might want to do a lot of teaching, workshop, classes, but if you are engineering, you might get your hands dirty to build things, to develop things, create things. And these are very different types of subjects, right? So we try to accommodate variations between disciplines and departments, but at the same time, you must fulfill certain common learning outcomes in order to be service learning. There must be a lot of impactful service. There must be learning for our students. And these projects must be very meaningful, have certain impact, and so on and so forth. And so once we put down all these basic requirements, say, okay, you must fulfill this, but beyond that, there is a lot of flexibility.
We sometimes had to help colleagues to imagine, okay, given your discipline, okay, like for example, fashion and textiles, okay? How could you possibly work with people who have mental health issues, right? If you are in hotel, okay, how can you use hospitality, right? Things that people associate with leisure, with expense, with money. How can you actually use that to serve people who are underprivileged? After the first few years, when we had the service learning initiative well underway and we knew that we have enough courses, we knew that we had enough spaces for students, we started helping our colleagues along the research area. We started running research salons so that people could understand how they could do research in association with service learning, that they could understand what other people were doing, right? And therefore brainstorm together. We put together a collaborative action research project that brought together, I think, 8 or 10 classes together to look at one single issue in service learning classes, and at the same time to help them to use an evidence-based approach to improve their classes. We organize conferences, right? I mean, okay, so it's our own conference that we organize, but at least it gives teachers a sense of publishing scholarly work, because many of our colleagues before this did not really have the experience in doing scholarly work on teaching and learning. The university very kindly gave us funding to run a community of practice. The first few years, it was very operational. All the topics were operational. How do I negotiate with NGOs? How do I assess students, etc. The last few years, the workshops have more started to center around how do I do research, right? What does research in service learning mean? And we find that these are very welcomed by colleagues. We also try to identify promising projects whenever there are opportunities for donations, for awards, whatever. We try to identify projects that we could nominate for these. In other words, trying to help the colleagues shine so that they see, oh, by doing service learning, it also helps my career forward.
We started to take some of these interested colleagues along with our projects as observers. So they come and see how we carry out the projects, how we train our students. Then we start giving them a taste of what it is about by making them our assistants. You don't just come and watch, you come and help us. You can sit in our reflection sessions with the students, so you can see how we do the reflections. Then you can do the reflections yourself. You can start taking charge of some of these reflection sessions so that you can help the students. So this way, colleagues can get acquire experience in teaching, supervising students, negotiating with NGOs, and so on. And now, after a while, we accumulate enough experience to offer a real rigorous course, which consists of lectures and seminars and workshops, and then field work. So at one point, we brought like 20 people to PolyU for 3 sessions and go through all the material in theory, and then we take them all to Cambodia. They can see different types of projects, teaching English, installing solar panels, and working with young people, and so on. And then they can also talk with the NGOs, potential partners, to see what the viewpoints from your partners are like. How do you align your interests with their interests? So they can see a full range of activities that are related to service learning. And that's one of the things that we do, which we do not see a lot in other universities.
今年我哋主題咧係活出我完美，咁我希望咧同學同埋參與者咧都能夠明白到原來人係冇完美嘅喎。咁我希望佢哋咧能夠學習用另外一個角度去欣賞人哋同埋欣賞自己。希望喺呢個互相欣賞嘅一個過程底下咧，佢能夠發掘到大家嘅一啲長處啦、優點啦，從而將大家嘅優點長處最靚、最有自信、最有才華嘅嗰一面咧展現喺大家嘅眼前嘅。
我好榮幸能夠參加到呢個理工大學，同呢幾位學生一齊去設計一件衫，跟住佢哋畫嗰啲線條咧，原來係需要大家合作，一個人係做唔到嘅。但合作當中咧，佢哋好包容我係好多謝呢啲學生，唔嫌我係一個長者，原來我都可以融入喺佢哋嗰度嘅。
今年我哋都好高興能夠同新生精神康復會嘅18位復原人士合作，並且以表達紡織藝術作為我哋嘅服務媒介啦。透過一啲非常簡單嘅設計技法啦，包括手繪、印花、自製印章、拼布同埋刺繡等等啦，嚟到去發揮佢哋嘅潛能同埋創意。
我最開心同埋最大得着都係識到美蓮嘅，咁因為其實一開始未認識佢之前咧，其實都會真係有啲擔心，會唔會話相處唔嚟？識咗1、2日開始，即係大家不斷溝通啦，跟住佢又會分享佢自己嘅經歷之餘咧，就講下其實你可以不斷去接納人哋啊，佢都會其實係不斷咁樣去好中意去學習咯，佢會用佢自己嘅生命去影響其他生命，不斷去幫助人哋，咁佢都覺得人哋祝福我，咁我又祝福翻人哋，其實冇得失咯，係開心噶咯。
俗語都有話，活到老學到老，係增長咗自己嘅見識同埋眼界，亦都可以發揮下心裏邊嘅小耳習。
多啲關心身邊嘅人啦，多啲即係體諒其他人，同埋變得無私一啲啦。因為有時候好多外在嘅因素會令到我哋忽略咗呢一點。
通過一個互動嘅協同設計過程，咁希望同學咧可以為我哋嘅康復者嚟到去設計一套全新嘅形象啦，令到佢哋重拾自信、盡顯才華，亦都令到社會各界啦對於我哋嘅康復者更加多嘅了解，多一份嘅關心，多一份嘅支持。
Qingping used to be a beautiful scenic village, but as a result of the Sichuan earthquake in May 2008 and 2 catastrophic landslides in 2008 and 2010, Qingping has been left devastated, with its infrastructure decimated and many lives lost. The economy ceased to function, people lost the means to earn a living and were left feeling uncertain of their future.
I think Qingping got a lot of potential to develop its ecotourism, got a lot of natural beauty, and the food and the farm here are very nice, especially I like the people here. The key objective of this surface learning subject is to help the student to learn some basic concept of ecotourism and the practice of ecotourism. And I would like our students to learn how they can apply this concept to help the local community in Qingping here.
During our time in Xingping, students taught the villagers several ecotourism promotion techniques, including incorporating ecotourism elements into tour itinerary planning, signage design, tour guide training, basic conversational English and promotion tactics. At the end of the program, the students and the villagers jointly organised an ecotourism carnival, which reinforced the concepts taught by the students and strengthened the coherence of the local community.
I believe I've learned a lot in those 5 days. The gratitude is what I've learned from the bottom of my heart. Those people, despite those horrible memories and painful days, they still live through that. And now all we see is their smile and their enthusiasm and also their positiveness towards life.
I want to do something to help the people in mainland China to know more about their lives and to find out the potential of the ecotourism in their area, and also it's a good chance for me to know more about the sustainability or some other environmental friendly tourism. So I think it's very meaningful.
I saw them applying the knowledge and skills they acquire from university education to the complex service sector here. I saw them being very confident and flexible in meeting all the challenges. And I saw them communicate very effectively with the clients and stakeholders.
每次他们都会给我们搞一些活动啊，让我们开心。我觉得他们真的给我们带来了很多的欢乐和开心。
As a university, it is our duty and our mission to train our undergraduate students to be future citizens of the society. I personally feel that as educators, we have a mission to show undergraduates that they matter and that they can actually make a difference in the world.
We are the first ones in Hong Kong to require each of the undergraduate students to take at least one such academic subject. The students will go and experience these social issues. And in the process, they learn by serving the community and solving these social needs. At the end, they get educated and they know, they learn how their education is relevant to the community.
It's like you really get into the community and know what's the situation in it. What you're really doing and learning is preparing yourself to one day you can really help the community members there. You know that what you're doing is meaningful to them and also meaningful to yourself.
We also want to help students to fulfill undergraduate outcomes such as global citizenship, internationalization through service learning. And then finally, we teach them responsible citizenship. We teach them how they can apply the university learned skills into practical solutions that will benefit the community as a whole.
We're also helping the community, serving the community by sharing with them our knowledge, our expertise, our students. But what we are looking at is not only what is happening now, when the students are being educated, they grow and become more mature, become more responsible. But we are hoping that after they graduate, they will continue to become socially responsible. By giving them this opportunity, by pushing them a little bit gently, they can overcome a lot of the things been holding them back and achieve something that they did not expect before.
It's amazing to see how I can learn those things which once I thought was very difficult. But actually, if I really tried hard to learn and try to incorporate it into practice, I can do some help to that community.
This is why we are doing this. And when I looked at the students and I saw that they realized that, yes, this is not much that we are doing, but through this little bit that we are doing, we can really help somebody. And that was when I really realized, yes, this is why we are doing all of this. This is why we go to all of this effort. This is why we give up all of our holidays, and it is worth it.
That's what we hope to see, which is not only to change the culture of the university, but to actually change the culture of a whole generation of young people.
My first worry in my head was whether it is actually possible to do the service, no matter whether it is online or not. Because my service learning activities engage with different parties, like the NGO, visiting the elderly, and also training the secondary school students to design something for the elderly. So many parties we need to deal with. How am I going to arrange all this? Okay, with the fact that we cannot meet all those stakeholders face to face. We are doing something to help the community. So I guess even during the pandemic, there's no need to worry. Just make sure you are engaged with your collaborator, okay? Discuss and talk and think about what kind of possibility there is. Don't be scared, okay? Without talking, there's no chance to make it happen. But if you tried, I'm sure there will be some solutions for all the problems.
One of the things being, it offers a new way of thinking about teaching and learning. Right? Traditionally, teaching and learning, we are standing there and we are lecturing the students. I can see the students, I see whether they understand, I see the reactions. When we do online teaching, Okay, a lot of times students don't show their faces. They turn off the cameras, they turn off the microphones. Then how do you know that they are there, right? How do you know that they're understanding? How do you engage them, right? And then how do you use the service learning piece to help to engage our students? I think that online teaching and online service learning is bringing some changes to how we teach and how we see teaching. One of the really exciting things that I'm seeing that it can bring to our classrooms is also the possibility of online inbound exchange. Now, if we are teaching online, or even if we're teaching hybrid mode, there is no reason why students in, say, South Africa or students in Canada can't register for our courses, can't take the courses together with our students, and can't serve the Hong Kong community together with our students. And that is something that opens up the door to exchange, to cultural diversity, to cultural learning, to civic learning in such a way that would not be possible if we did not have online learning.
I think one of the most important objectives of USRN is to nurture our students to become the global leader with the heart to serve the deprived and marginalized community with the capacity of intercultural collaboration. And so we initiate this project for fulfill the objective of USRN. So we start the project in 2017. And the first project is in Kyoto, Japan. And the second project is in Ya'an, Sichuan, China. And the third project is in Mopo City of South Korea. So every year, the students from Hong Kong, China, Japan, and South Korea, they join together to and go to the different places to serve the rural community and the rural elderly. In our program, we have 4 key concepts: active aging, asset building, co-creation, and placemaking. So we set 4 objectives in our program. The first one is to transform our students' perspective on aging and elderly, and also transform their perspective on the deprived community. And the second one is to equip our students' skill and knowledge of how to serve the local community and the elderly. And the third one is to internalize students' value, like the active aging and co-creation, these kinds of value, through direct engagement with the local elderly and community. And the fourth one is to build up students' capacity of intercultural collaboration and harmony through they working together, they living together, and studying together. So every year we brought our students to different local community, and then we not just go to serve, we also go to learn from the elderly, learn from the local community. And then the concept, because we use the concept of co-creation, co-production, and then finally, the student co-create something for the community, and this product can really contribute back to the local community. Like the first year, we produced a documentary. This documentary actually to record the so-called different kinds of assets in the local community, and this video can really help the local community to promote their tourism. The second year, we work together with the elderly in Sichuan. So because that's the bamboo, they have a lot of bamboo products. So the students co-create the new bamboo design and new bamboo product together with the elderly. And then also co-create, like they learn the skill of architects building together with the elderly, and then finally they pave the ground of the garden for the local community. And the third year, we also hope we can contribute something for the community. And finally, they have an idea to co-create a cookbook for the local community, and this cookbook, after published, can become the so-called income generation product for the local community in long futures. Yeah. Okay, we use the p-test and po-test method to measure the change of our student. There is a score called positive U development competency. We find the score increase after the service. That means the student become more positive development. Okay, and the other score is about their attitude on the elderly. We also find the score change, increase after the service. That means the student have the more positive attitude to the elderly after the service.